to Ghosted, Gagged, and Gay, the podcast where we talk about queer love, messy dating stories, and the real work of building relationships that feel safe, secure, and that last long term. I'm your host, Lone, a relationship coach and rapid transformational therapy practitioner. I work with queer men to break cycles, certain patterns in dating and relationships that are limiting them from choosing the love life that they truly deserve. But today, I would like to have a special episode, which is a panel episode with Trevor, and we might have a guest joining later, which his name is Lamont White. And we're getting, yeah, super practical because gay dating can feel chaotic right now, especially in these days with all the dating apps and tips and gurus out there. But most people don't need more vague advice, so we want to have certain playbook or practical tips to, yeah, help you with this chaotic sphere these days. So my guest here today is Trevor Kuhn. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes, it's German, so I think you've heard it before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's a love, relationship, and confidence coach for
Mhm.
gay and bi men based in New York City. He founded Love Daddy, and his work focuses on self-awareness, curiosity, authentic relating with super practical tools for modern dating. Trevor, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lene. It's great to be here. And one thing we didn't add is I also am a matchmaker in New York City. So I work along with Lamont. So if he's able to join, we'll chat more about that, but feel free to ask any questions um, about what's going on in that field. But
Exactly.
we're
Yeah,
happy to have a conversation and provide some shared tips here. I'm sure you have some great ones that your audience can relate to, and I'm happy to share mine as well.
all
So
right. Sounds great. So shall we dive right in?
yeah,
Yeah, so Trevor, so in one sentence, like what is the really the biggest reason dating nowadays feel like very tough or feels
Mhm.
harder than it used to be maybe, or in a different way, I guess it was harder back in the days, but now it feels like it's harder than it needs to be.
I think that it is going to be hard, obviously, to compare the way it used to be versus now because it used to be harder, like you said, for different reasons. There wasn't as much access, there wasn't as much acceptance. Um, just in general, people had to hide more. So there's different reasons that it's harder today. But I think a big part of it is that we have endless information, endless options, especially in metropolitan areas. But we're constantly bombarded. Like we have social media, so we're seeing all these opinions and content about attachment theory and red flags and trauma, and we're trying to identify ourselves, and we're trying to be so analytical about dating. And I think a lot of men are trying to determine, you know, through analysis, like, is this guy the one? And is there a red flag? And also because there's so many options, it's like we're skipping over people all the time because we're like, well, maybe this one, maybe that one, maybe not this one. And it's chaotic. It's we all have ADHD when it comes to dating. Like there's too much. It's too much for most people. And we really, I know you said one sentence. So, but I think we're really looking for certainty
Yes.
before we have enough information about the person. And that if most people are doing that, it makes it super complicated.
Yeah, exactly. Especially that in most cases or most locations, we either have like very limited dating pool where we feel like there's like it's very hard to find someone, or we have like thousands of options. So there's kind of like no in between.
Yeah.
So that makes it, I guess, harder. So what would you say like is the biggest myth today about like among gay men or queer men like about finding a relationship?
One of one of the things is the idea that you have to find someone, like it's something to search for. And I think that we're being a bit analytical about that. And instead of just being present, seeing who we connect with, choosing someone to explore something further with. I hear all the time, I just haven't met the right person yet. Or I don't know, I'm just like not connecting with anyone that feels like my person. Or like I haven't found him yet. This idea that we have to find someone, I think is probably a big myth.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree. I think there's like a certain loop, right? Like that keeps us stuck, or keep many people stuck from finding their person or stumbling upon them, I guess would be the better term.
Yeah. And I mean, you can stumble upon someone, right? You can encounter someone. So if you want to look at that as finding, sure. Like it's all, I guess, semantics when it comes down to it. But
Exactly.
if you really think that you're like, oh, he's out there somewhere, I just have to find him, it's putting a lot of pressure. You're really playing like the needle in the haystack game, uh, that is already amplified by dating apps.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's totally true. So actually from your like now like from a coaching perspective, what would
Mhm.
you say like were the two or are the two most like or two top inner patterns that keep us like stuck or keep men stuck from from like your coaching experience with different clients and so on?
Okay. Uh, so if we want to, if you will think of, if you will take overthinking as a pattern, I would say that is something that most, if not all, to some extent, like of my clients, that's why they're getting coaching. They're like, I don't know how to organize my thoughts around this because, th he said this in a text, and now I'm thinking this, and you know, I thought everything was going well, but then he ghosted me, and so it must mean that he's not attracted to me or he found someone else. And again, we're just like trying to use our brains in an arena that doesn't require our brains. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, can
I
you
think
relate to
like
that?
I think like yeah, anxious attachment would be
Mhm.
like connected to that, right? Like this overthinking, this anxiety of like, oh, what does this mean?
Yeah,
He didn't send an emoji. Is that something bad?
yeah,
So yeah, stuff like
yeah. So then, yeah, and if you take that in another direction, there's the quest for validation. So we're basically outsourcing our own self-worth
Mhm.
to gain approval from others. We've been doing this all our lives, as gay men, but now we're doing it within our own community and within dating. Like we want someone to give us approval. We want to connect with a man. We want a man to like us and vice versa. But when we're really like attached to this idea that another man has to validate us,
Mhm.
I think that's another pattern that really comes up and gets in the way.
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on that from your end, like with the coaching that you do?
Yeah, like sure. So I think like you put it very nicely there. I think yeah, validation chasing and this anxious attachment, they're like also two of the top uh like
Mhm.
limitations or loops that I also encounter in my work. And I think it all, like, if we really want to oversimplify it, it all comes down to this feeling, this inner feeling of not being enough, whether to someone else or even just to ourselves, we're not enough. And then if we don't truly believe and deeply believe that we are not enough to ourselves even, then like there's no way we could believe that we are enough to someone else.
Yeah, exactly. And then we look at rejection as a rejection of our own value. Like,
Exactly.
as opposed to this just wasn't mutual, you
Yeah,
know, that we can't look at a rejection as a an indictment of our self-worth, of what we have to offer. Yeah.
exactly. And actually, do you see like, so from your coaching perspective
Mhm.
now to your like matchmaking perspective,
Mhm.
do you see any like difference basically? So like, let's say these are the two like top two loops that keep men stuck in when it comes to dating, when like from your coaching perspective,
Mhm.
does it differ when like, or how does that affect your matchmaking work basically?
The matchmaking is a little different.
Hmm.
Um, but it's the same. It's essentially there are similar patterns because
Like
these are men who
intertwined, yeah.
they're intertwined because guys are coming for matchmaking because they hope to bypass the channels that are available to them, whether it's in-person networks or that might be limited, depending on the size of their social network and or where they live. They want to access someone in another group, perhaps like, oh, I know there's more gay men in my town or in my city, and I'm just not meeting them. We're not connected in the same environments, or I don't want to use the apps. I really just want to meet someone face to face and see how it goes. But the added benefit of the matchmaking is that we vet both the client and their potential matches so that we know that these people they're not here to mess around. They're legit looking for partnership. They're not just rolling, maybe they're on apps too, but they're not using that as their sole source of, looking for connection. So they're actually, looking to us as matchmakers to curate a date based on different factors that could potentially make them compatible. And so they're trusting the process, which I think actually a really big step for an individual. Anyone who gets coaching or hires support in an area because they know that someone maybe sees things beyond what they see, um, they have a leg up in the whole experience of dating because I already know that their emotional presence is stronger, and that they're investing right in this area. They know that this is maybe an opportunity for me to try something different. This is an opportunity for me to meet someone I wouldn't normally meet and who my matchmaker feels would be a good match for me. And instead of prejudging, like we do when we're swiping, we're like, hey, I don't know, let me see the next one, let me see the next one. You don't get endless options in matchmaking. We have a conversation, we have some agreements about who's right for you. Um, and also, I can give you can give me feedback if that date didn't go well or that person was just like not right for you. Sometimes we do get it wrong because we don't have all the information. But then other times, I have to push back on that client and say, okay, I'm seeing a pattern here. You're finding reasons not to like someone. And it may be the same reason every time, or it might be slightly different, but I'm noticing a pattern. And I'm noticing you rejecting people before you've gotten to know them. And that was happening before we met, and it's happening now. So it's a different kind of relationship than coaching because
Yeah,
I'm directly involved in
exactly.
their dating life in a
Yeah,
different
ex
way. differently.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think yeah, it's like very hands-on, like practical approach to dating. Of course, it will involve a lot of coaching on the way,
Yeah.
but it's kind of, yeah, like as you said, they're very intertwined.
Mhm.
So it's like the matchmaking is like the basically the practice um of like whatever coaching leads to, or like the application of coaching into the dating life.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
Definitely.
since we promised the listeners to that we will give really practical tips,
Hmm.
so let's talk about early dating.
Hmm.
So in the first like 2 weeks, so for 14 days of meeting someone, what should you be paying attention to that predicts relationship potential?
Okay, so yeah, we want to not get ahead. We want to not get ahead of ourselves, right? Like we do want to invest our time and energy into someone that we believe has potential, right?
Yeah.
Like I totally get that. It's not always going to happen. We're gonna give weeks or months to someone who's just not ready or who changes their mind or was love bombing us. That's going to happen. And I think the important thing is to build awareness around those disappointments. Um, Now, assuming that the person isn't love bombing, they're not about to ghost us, there is potential, and we don't know it yet. I think you want to look out for obviously consistency. You
Hmm.
know, are they communicating with you regularly? It doesn't have to be every day, it doesn't have to be constant textings. But if they're falling off the map for a few days without explanation, um, and you start to kind of like question, is is he interested? Um, and that becomes like a pattern for you, I would say, you have to listen to that to some extent. Notice if you are doing that every single time, because some people are going to take longer to respond, some people aren't. But just watch for their consistency. And um if they're up and down, hot and cold, obviously like it's not going to be aligned. There's probably not a lot of potential there because he's probably doing it to other people as well. Whether
Yeah.
in that moment or not, it's probably someone before you and someone after you. That might be his pattern. I would say curiosity is very important. I hear so often that guys will tell me, "Oh, he didn't really ask me any questions about me. Like we had a fine conversation, but I didn't feel like he wanted to get to know me." And that's really the goal of a date, of the early dating, right? That first few weeks, the first month even,
Yeah.
is combine the consistency with the curiosity. There's a lot to learn about a person. So you should be trying to learn about them, not in a 20 questions, interview style, but you want to know about this person. That you're trying to invite them into your life, and hopefully they're trying to invite you into theirs. That should be the energy we bring to dating. And so if that's not reciprocal, then that's an issue, right? Um, so if they're not by the way, you can let them know, because some people just are really bad at this. Like a lot of people, a lot of men, gay, straight, whatever, women too, just people like are not skilled at getting to know each other. Would
True.
you would you say that's been your experience?
Yeah, definitely. And like so many people come to me telling me like, oh, like at the beginning, like I don't know when to start asking questions. Is it too early to ask this question? Is this like if I ask this, do I seem too needy or too interested? I'm like, no, always like
Mhm.
whenever like communication is always good from day one. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be like the question doesn't have to be like, will you marry me from day one?
Mhm.
But it can be talking about like anything, even deep talks.
Yeah.
And if you are a person who likes to ask these questions, even from day one, and the other
Hmm.
person doesn't, then maybe there it's already a mismatch, right? Because you want someone to really like who you are from the start, not like after you plan like with tactics and strategies, like when to ask this question, when to do
Yeah.
this. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about really like consistency, like what kind of effort, like the amount of effort,
Sure.
the communication. So I would say, yeah, these are really like the main signs to look for, like in the early stages of dating.
Yeah. Definitely.
So Trevor, like, how about we, like, so the next segment, I would like to play a mini game.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Fun.
but right before we start with that, just like very shortly, what's like
Mhm.
one question you love asking early that
Mhm.
creates like real intimacy without oversharing? Like, do you have a question like that?
Um, yeah, I'd say because we do want to get to a deeper level, but you don't want to go so deep on like a first date or a second date. Obviously the energy between the two of you is going to dictate how deep you might go.
Yeah.
But I would say if you were to ask someone, hey, what's something that you've been very intentional about lately? Or because that will kind of tell you like what are they prioritizing? What are they putting their energy into? That's so there's that potential option. Or if you want to know like what their purpose, if they even thought about their purpose, you could
Yeah.
say, what are some areas that um, that you really what are some things that make you feel connected to a purpose in your life? Right?
Yeah.
Something along those lines. So we know like the people are coming into our lives with something going on in their life, but also something going on in their head, right? Like it's
Yeah,
not just
definitely.
I'm looking for a boyfriend to come to because I'm supposed to do that, and that's the only thing missing. Okay, and even if it were the only thing missing, great, then they should have a lot to tell you about in terms of their purpose and what they're being intentional about in their life, what they're excited or passionate about. Like these really aren't surface level questions.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you know, um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. That's like a really good tip.
Mhm.
So, are we ready for the game now,
I'm
Trevor?
ready for the game. Your
Okay,
background, it like really feels like a
it's a game show.
like a game, like a game show or like a video game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a new section segment. Like I haven't done it before, so I was like, okay, let me
Okay.
introduce this. So the game is called Keep, Cut, or Clarify.
Oh
So
yes.
yes, I'm going to give you like two or three dating scenarios, and for
Hmm.
each one of them, please tell me whether to keep it, cut it, or ask for clarification
Okay.
from the other person.
Okay.
So it's a great first date.
Hmm.
Then they disappear for 3 days and come back like nothing happened.
Ask for clarification.
Oh, makes sense. Okay, then the second scenario would be they are consistent, but they won't make plans more than 24 hours in advance.
Ask for clarification.
Yeah. Okay, so they are sweet in private, but won't acknowledge you in public or with friends.
Cut.
Yeah, I would go for cut too.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are busy, but somehow always available for sex, never for a real date.
This is going to be totally subjective because if the sex is really good and you don't have another date lined up, that maybe you want to. I'm not for like I'm not for staying in that space for a long time.
Yeah.
Like I think you probably will eventually cut it or ask for clarification. Like
So
those are
clarification.
I mean, it's an iffy one because you really have to it's sometimes you're like, "Oh yeah, this guy's just a fuck boy." And then you have to decide, do I want to keep doing this? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'd say that you can ask for clarification, but you might end up cutting it if you're looking for something more.
So clarification with like leaning towards cutting it.
Leaning toward cut, but he better turn things around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I think we're running out of
Oh, I was
time.
I was like ready for another.
I know. I wish we can do it
I was
longer.
waiting for a keeper. I'm like, which one will I keep? But
Yeah. True.
yeah,
Today there was nothing to keep.
nothing to keep. Yeah.
Okay, so before we end the episode, so what
hmm
would you give like one piece of advice for like the for guys or queer guys who are struggling with their dating life right now, that like something like one action they can do this week that has a high impact?
Okay, so this is it's difficult to give like general tip for like everyone without knowing their struggles, but I would say something we talked about earlier is the overthinking.
Hmm.
That's something most people come in with,
Yeah,
and um, there's an attachment to outcomes. So everyone, comes into dating with high anticipation. Many of us have expectations about what this is going to be, who we should end up with. We've got big dreams, we've got a lot of love to give, and there's so much pressure when we're focused on outcomes. And when we're focused on outcomes, that's like a future thing that we're hoping for versus like being here in the present. And the more we're focused on what this is going to be, what it's going to become, the less present we are. So I think if you're someone who identifies with this, you're probably overthinking a lot. You're probably putting a lot of pressure on yourself and on each date because you've already experienced disappointment from many days before. And so it just feels like so urgent, and we got to drop the urgency. We got to just focus on being present, finding joy in this experience. Like I know it's can be hard to like meet new people and, wish for things to come and then them not come, the way we're hoping, but find joy in meeting new people and discovering, things about people. We talked about overthinking.
yeah,
That's not helpful. We talked about the curiosity being one of the important indicators of relationship potential. You have to participate in that. So if you have
exactly.
no one in front of you to be curious about, or you're only focused on the end result, you're gonna be on this road for a while.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And I think like also from my side, I would say like awareness, really like try to if you have a date this week or you're chatting with some potential dates this
Mhm,
week, just try to be aware of what's going on, like the narrative that is going on inside of your head, like the thoughts that are coming along and like the behaviors, the feelings, everything. Like if you can just write it down on a piece of paper, and then when you, even if you were like in this overthinking mode, but then later
mhm,
when you are calm and still, then you look at this paper and just like read what you've written. I think you
mhm,
can start seeing some patterns that could be the what's like limiting you basically from having a not a good date, but just having a like a healthy boundary to
mhm.
dating. So I think that's always like I keep like my I would say like my trademark would be awareness because I keep saying awareness, awareness, awareness. But yeah, I think that in that case, it goes well too.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we can't change the way we show up if we're not aware of it. And if we can't change, if we're not aware of it and we can't change it, then our experience doesn't change. So
Exactly.
you're spot on there. It's like practicing awareness. Yeah.
Yeah. So
This
thank you,
doesn't have to be such a heavy, it doesn't have to be such a heavy thing. We make it so heavy. We make it so urgent.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
um it should just be fun. It should be fun. I will say I've been in a relationship for almost 7 years, and it's some people are gonna hate me for saying this, but I miss dating. I miss aspects of dating, to getting to know new people, having that anticipation, having that excitement. But I will say, like, be aware of what that's doing to you. Like, you don't want to be like excitement to the point where you're disappointed every single time it doesn't work out, because that's
Exactly.
painful, and we don't want dating to be a painful experience. We want
Exactly.
there to be joy and excitement, uh, but we also have to be a little grounded, throughout that experience.
Exactly. Just like when you're
Yeah.
meeting someone new, and there could be a potential friendship there, right? But when you're meeting someone new for the first time, not for dating, then
Yeah.
usually we're very like easygoing, we're very casual, like it's very light.
Mhm.
Um, we're just getting to know them, we're more patient on them.
Yeah.
But whenever we put this word dating or this like mindset around it, then we get like
Mhm.
so tense and then we want things to happen like right now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Patience.
So thank you, Trevor. Trevor, can you tell us about like your latest endeavors or like how we can like if people want to reach you, like how we can reach you
Mhm.
basically.
So the best way to stay in touch with me is to follow my Instagram account. That's my only social media at the moment. So my handle is Love Daddy Trev, all one word, LOVEDADDYTREV. And so you can follow me there. I'm not, I do get a lot of DMs. So if you do DM me, I may not see it, and I apologize for that, but you can always reach out to me through my website. Um, I do check all my website messages, and that my website is lovedaddy.co. There's no M at the end, it's .co. So yeah, and I hope to do some events in Europe one day. I've been getting a lot of requests from people in a
Yeah.
few different European cities. So I've only done them in the US, New York, and a couple other cities. But I'm only one person, so I can't be everywhere. But I do want to travel more. That's my goal, intention, hope, desire, for the future is to get out in more communities. And
Yeah, we would love to see you here actually in Europe. That would be great.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, then thank you so much for bringing this real world perspective and for the really nice conversation with the tips and the game. I hope you enjoyed the game too.
Hmm.
It was a test run. And
Totally.
yeah, and if you're listening and you're tired of repeating the same old patterns, please reach out to I will put your Instagram handle in the episode description. Reach out to Trevor, reach out to me. There are good options out there. And yeah, it's never too late or shameful to reach or to seek help. Even if it's a simple question or something that you don't think you need help with, it's good just to inquire and say, like, do I need help with this?
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, until the next episode, please be nice to each other, be respectful to each other, and also to yourselves. Thank
Also
you
to
again,
yourself.
Trevor, for being here.
Thanks, Lene. All right. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too. Bye bye.